Hi, this is Ali coming at you from one of the Barbican's many hidden corners. Last night I did something quite out of character for me and I went to the ballet, specifically Ballet Black's triple bill, which was held in the Barbican Theatre. Perhaps unfairly, I've always thought of the ballet as being kind of stuffy and exclusive, but I also like to keep an open mind. So when I heard that the Barbican was putting on Ballet Black, a company of 8 international dancers of Black and Asian descent, I thought this is a pretty good opportunity for me to challenge these preconceptions and consider ballet as an art form that could move with the times as much as any other. But anyway, before I tell you my opinion of the show, here's artistic director Casa Pancho.
I was inspired to set up Ballet Black because I wanted to know what would happen if you created an environment where Black dancers weren't the only Black face in the room. And it started as a ballet class and then it grew out of that into the company that you see today, 15 years later.
As a triple bill, Ballet Black provided a really good introduction to the uninitiated such as myself. First up was Christo, or Crystals, which was choreographed by Arthur Peter and set to the music of Drumming Part 3 by Steve Reich. It was kind of a 15-minute long vignette. What struck me about Christo was how perfectly the lighting, choreography, costume design and music all came together. Together they created a really striking impression of crystals and the dazzling sights and sounds that we associate with them. On the stage were 2 dancers. On the left was a man in quite plain grey clothing. Then there was an audible gasp as a ballerina entered the stage left wearing the most stunning bodice and tutu, absolutely covered in Swarovski crystals. Considering how much the costume must have weighed and cost, it was amazing how ballerina Kira Robinson managed to remain so light on her feet the whole time.
My mom took me to see the Dance Theater of Harlem, and they were doing Firebird, and I just remember being really small and sitting on phone books and just seeing someone up on the stage who kind of looked like me. You know, at 5, dance wasn't even in my head yet at all. You know, I just saw someone doing something beautiful. And now that I look back on it, that kind of connects the dots to me being where I am today.
So upon her entrance, the 2 proceeded to dance to some frantic xylophone drumming, which I have no idea how they managed to keep time to. Christo's choreographer Arthur Peter said he wanted to evoke a place where one is neither awake or asleep, alive or dead, but somehow being led and seduced by a glimmering light. Reading this after watching the performance, this is actually exactly what I took away from it.
So it features an enormous piece of silk, which is a big challenge to rehearse with. And it's about one man and his journey through different relationships.
I don't have as much to say about the second dance, which was To Begin Begin, because I found that one a lot harder to interpret. What really struck me about the piece, though, was the music composed by Dustin O'Halloran, which was really striking and emotive. And also, while the choreography was a lot more conceptual and open to interpretation, I was really impressed by the dancers' use of this large blue swathe of silk, which they used to create magical illusions. For example, it helped them to appear on and disappear from the stage, and also create quite grand costumes out of it. But I really just enjoyed watching To Begin Begin flickering before my eyes to the sound of such wonderful music. After a short interval was the 3rd and final dance, Storyville.
It was a 30-minute piece and everybody loved it but thought it was too short, so we were able to come back to the choreographer and add some new scenes to it. So we've expanded it, we've got quite a lot of new cast members in the piece, and we're really looking forward to staging it at the Barbican.
Unlike the first 2 pieces, this one had a really clear narrative, told not only through the dance, but also through props, signs and lyrical music. Set in the year 1915, the story follows a young girl in a bright red dress, Nola, who arrives in the town of Storyville, New Orleans. Nola soon finds herself entrenched in a world of vice and hedonism of an infamous dance hall, although she does have a short-lived and hopeful romance with a young sailor dressed in white. Unfortunately, her story ends in tragedy. The dance closes with Nola in drunken despair, abandoned and alone, as all of the other dancers on the stage have cleared off. The spotlight is just on her. This was a really powerful moment, if not the most powerful moment of the whole night. It must have taken so much control to perform such a skillful ballet while also giving the impression of drunkenness. By the end of her visual descent into madness, I could just about hear the ballerina sobbing on stage, and I'm not sure if this was intentional or if she just got so wrapped up in the emotion of it. I was impressed by Storyville's ability to convey its narrative so clearly. For example, the prop of a doll dressed in the same bright red dress as Nola signified her innocence. When this doll was stabbed by the skull-faced voodoo king and queen, Nola's fate was set. However, I found much to my surprise the more verbal elements of Storyville, such as the songs with lyrics, actually felt like an unwelcome interruption, because over the first two dances I'd really enjoyed applying my own interpretation to the movement. I think the fact that I've been able to speak at such length and quite opinionatedly about ballet, which is something I'd never really been into before, is quite amazing. Casa Pancho founded Ballet Black in 2001 in the hope of showcasing classical dances of Black and Asian descent, and also to introduce new audiences to ballet. In a recent interview, Pancho said she hoped that young people of non-white backgrounds might look at the dancers on stage and think, that could be me. And judging by the number of young, inspired faces in the audience last night, I'd say that she certainly achieved this. Ballet Black are doing one more night at the Barbican Theatre, which unfortunately is now sold out. But if you're interested, which I hope that you are, you can go to balletblack.co.uk to look up their future performances. I believe they're headed to Worthing's Connaught Hall on the 9th of April. Don't forget to subscribe to the Barbican Centre's YouTube channel to hear more from the young reviewers.